So, oh, wait just a minute. Yes, okay, good afternoon. Welcome to my Surviving the 80s. And this is really more or less how I do survive the 80s, maybe more than some of the other videos that I do. Cindy, you asked me about what supplements and vitamins I take, and so I thought I would just show you today. And I want to say that I've really changed a lot over the years in my thinking and my philosophy and my protocols for vitamins and minerals and supplements. And as a child, all I can remember taking was cod liver oil. And other than that, there wasn't anything. And no matter where we lived, and we didn't move a lot when I was a child, I can remember, well, I can remember some different homes, but no matter where my mom was, she had a vegetable garden. And a big one, and a good one, beautiful. So I grew up, I was 13 before they had pesticides and herbicides and all that. So I grew up on good food. And we had a cow, we had our meat and so forth, and our eggs, besides the garden. So then I got married, and of course you want to do everything right when you first start, and I read Adele Davis, and I'm sure a lot of you don't even recognize the name or know who she is, but she was a nutritionist, and she wrote a lot of books about vitamins and minerals and things, and so I wanted to do it right, and we got vitamins and minerals, and we took them. I can remember even when I would go into labor, I would take my vitamin D and I would take my calcium pills with me to the hospital. And as I can remember one time asking for some water so I could swallow them, and they wouldn't give it to me because they thought I might be nauseated and whatnot. So I just chewed them up. And I think if they realized what I'd done, I don't know, if they would have felt worse about me getting sick, which I didn't do. I just had my babies. And anyway, so we did vitamins and supplements. And there were times when probably we took so many it was hard to eat dinner because we were taking so many. And I want to tell you, one time, when the kids were in school, I was getting them all ready for school, and we had had breakfast, and lots of times that's when we ate our supplements and vitamins, and so we'd taken them, and I'd rushed around, got the kids out the door, and they're gone, and finally I can sit down. Well, when I sat down, I sort of belched, and out my nose came this powdery, smoky stuff. I felt like Puff the Magic Dragon. And it was one of those capsules had exploded and opened up in my stomach, and out it came. So you begin to wonder, are we doing the right thing? And then, we don't eat 300 oranges off the tree to get that much vitamin C. We don't. Our bodies aren't made to do that. So that sort of went by the wayside. And then let's see, 7 years ago, I started taking different classes on herbs, and you get really excited about herbs. They're wonderful things. But again, I don't take prescribed medicine. I don't want to take a lot of herbs like medicine. I want to take the herbs like food. I want to drink the lavenders in my teas and use them on my skin and use them in my cooking. I want to use the spices, and spices and herbs are sort of, they go in the same group. I want to use them like food, and that's how I want to do it. But there are, and you've seen me make tinctures, and there are some that I use more often than some of the others. When I was in my 70s and had that accident with the goats and the meniscus got torn, sometimes it still gives me trouble. Well, yesterday it did. And so I took white willow. White willow is an herb and it's in a tincture form, and that's what the original aspirin, white willow and meadowsweet, were what the original aspirin was designed from. Today, the aspirin we have is synthetic, made with petroleum products. So anyway, I took some of that. It doesn't work as fast as an aspirin would, but it does last longer. And by the way, I'll tell you about yesterday. I did take it maybe 3 times during the day, and it was very painful, and I kept putting off doing my exercises because my knee hurt. And finally I said, I'm going to go do them. And it was late in the day. I did my exercises, and it wasn't long after that I said, hey Tom, my knee's not hurting like it was. I could still feel it. I still know it's there, but it's not that pain, that excruciating pain. So anyway, white willow and exercise to the rescue. And then another one that I take quite often is yarrow, and that's the tincture you saw me make. And if I need relaxing in the evening, I'm apt to take chamomile, but you could also have a cup of tea. So those are, I take like medicinal. Okay, another thing that I take, and this is the vinegar, and it has the extraction of elderberries and ginger in it, and I take that in the morning, 1 to 3 teaspoons in the morning. But that to me is like food. I'm using that like food. The apple cider vinegar, the elderberries, and the ginger. Today, Renda was telling me about cinnamon. I'm going to include that in different foods. And the cinnamon helps your blood sugar to keep it lower. So I'm going to start using more cinnamon on my food. Then the other thing, oh, and when I read a lot about Adele Davis, but I got to meet her, and I met her son. And it was later on, actually her son, when I met him, was in college, and he was one very healthy looking individual, and it sold me on what she had said. But by then oh yeah, I guess we still were taking quite a few vitamins then. But over the years, again, I've come to, what I'm thinking about them now is, as we take one vitamin, our bodies get sort of out of balance, and then it puts us in deficiency for another vitamin, and so we're going back and forth. Whereas if we eat the food that these vitamins are in, our body knows how to digest them, knows how to use them, and it gets the right amount, unless of course there's no amount. If our food is empty, then of course there isn't. And again, I think it's fear that they use, because they say our food is empty, you have to have these. Well, if we're growing our food and we know how it's grown, and we're really taking care to do a good job, we don't need that fear. And even you could know some, at farmers markets, you could get acquainted with some really, that you would trust. And there's different things out there. Now, I want to show you something else, and I started to tell you this. This is, well, I'll show you what it is. And this came to us via Adele Davis so many years ago, and what it is, it's nutritional flakes, and it's full of B vitamins. It even has B12 in it, and it's a food. And I've mixed them up in the water, and in the morning I usually drink this. Well, I'll drink this afternoon because I mixed it up to show you. But you could mix it, I suppose, in milk. You could do it other ways. You can even just eat it by the spoonfuls and chew it up. I I believe vegan people make it into a a fake cheese sauce, but because it has that sort of flavor to it. But I do that. That's sort of how I get my B vitamins. Tom takes a B12. I don't. When we were in Idaho, they found out he was deficient. I'm not. They told me not to take extra. So I don't. I take whatever I can get in my food. And your B vitamins usually come in your red meat. But it also comes in this. So that's basically, and you know, I've even changed in the last year, because a year ago I was still taking more supplements. But I've walked out this year to the garbage can and thrown out a lot of supplements. I want food to be my medicine. And oh, another thing I thought I would end up with, well, okay, this is not a very big glass, but I'm going to pour myself a glass of water, and it's the good water. I've talked about skin. One of the best things you can do for your skin is drink enough water. And the other thing is to cook with the right kind of oils and fats, and make sure you get those into your diet. If you do that, you're going to start right away having healthier skin. And I do want to put lubricant on my skin, because at my age, you know, it gets drier and thinner, and you can begin to look like a crocodile. And so I'm trying to avoid the alligator crocodile look. And so that's what I do, and it's my protocol. And I know everyone probably has their own and how they feel about it, but this is my story, and this is why I'm doing it. So thank you for coming today, and just have a good day. And we'll see you after a while, crocodile.